This has to stop. It's tearing us apart.
I know, I'm trying.
Trying isn't enough.
I promise.
I can't keep this inside anymore. It's tearing me apart.
Akinyi is a respected businessman living in a small African village. He has been married to Amara for many years, but he feels unsatisfied with their life together. Thinking that he needs something more, he secretly marries Toriro, a woman from a distant town. Akinyi believes that marrying her will bring him the happiness he's missing. He never tells Amara about this second marriage, thinking that it won't cause any problems. Amara, Akinyi's first wife, is heartbroken when she discovers the truth. She never expected that the man she trusted and loved would keep such a big secret from her. The news shakes her deeply, but she decides not to confront Akinyi immediately. Instead, she stays quiet, trying to understand what to do next. She continues with her daily life, taking care of their children, but inside, a storm is growing. Amara's quietness is her power. While Akinyi thinks everything is fine, Amara is carefully planning her next steps. She doesn't want to let Akinyi off easily. In her heart, she decides that she won't just forgive him. She will make him feel the pain of what he's done. But first, she needs to remain calm and act like nothing has changed, all the while preparing for the right moment to make him understand the hurt he caused. Stick with me while I share my story, and if it touches you, don't forget to support our channel by hitting that subscribe button, dropping a like, and sharing it with the people you care about. Amara is deeply hurt by Akinyi's actions, but instead of showing her anger, she chooses to remain silent. She continues to play the role of the loving wife, taking care of their children and supporting Akinyi as if nothing has changed. She hides her pain and pretends that everything is fine, all while her heart breaks a little more every day. On the outside, Akinyi thinks everything is normal. He feels that he's got away with his secret marriage to Toriro, and he doesn't notice the quiet storm brewing inside Amara. She stays silent, never letting him know that she knows what he's done. Amara's silence becomes a weapon she plans to use. She starts to carefully observe Akinyi's behavior, looking for the right time to make her move. Every time Akinyi comes home late or shows signs of carelessness, she takes note. She is patient, knowing that when the time comes, her actions will hurt him in ways he can't imagine. While Amara keeps her thoughts to herself, she begins to make subtle changes in their household. She becomes more distant, less affectionate, and starts to focus on her own personal goals. She begins to rebuild her life without him, quietly taking control of her future. Little by little, Akinyi starts to notice that things aren't the same anymore, but he doesn't know why. Amara is playing a long game, and with each passing day, her plan to get back at Akinyi becomes clearer. But for now, she remains silent, biding her time. Zuri, the second wife, has no idea that Amara knows about her marriage to Akinyi. She believes that Akinyi truly loves her, and that their relationship is special. She feels secure in the love they share, thinking that Amara is no longer a threat to her. However, Amara's quiet presence begins to unsettle Zuri. One day, Amara reaches out to Zuri and invites her over for a conversation. Zuri, unaware of the storm brewing, agrees. She walks into Amara's home, thinking that the situation has been settled. Amara greets her warmly, with a calm demeanor, and begins to speak about forgiveness. Zuri believes this is a sign of Amara moving on, but as the conversation continues, she starts to feel something strange, a tension she can't place. Amara shares her story, making Zuri realize that she has been part of a much bigger game than she thought. Amara doesn't show anger or bitterness, but her words cut deep. Zuri begins to question everything about her marriage to Akinyi. She thought she was the woman Akinyi truly loved, but now she sees how much he has lied to both her and Amara. The conversation is not a fight, but rather a slow realization for Zuri. Amara's quiet strength and wisdom make Zuri feel like an outsider in her own marriage. For the first time, she begins to see that Akinyi's love for her may not be as pure as she thought. By the end of the meeting, Zuri leaves with more questions than answers. The doubt planted by Amara lingers in her heart, and she realizes that things may never be the same again. Amara invites Toriro to her home, under the guise of wanting to reconcile and discuss their situation. Toriro is hesitant but agrees, thinking that perhaps Amara wants peace. As she enters Amara's home, she is met with a warm but slightly cold reception. Amara doesn't show hostility but instead offers a calm and collected presence, which makes Toriro uneasy. Both women sit down, and Amara begins by asking Toriro about her relationship with Akinyi. Toriro, somewhat surprised, tries to explain that she didn't know about Amara for a long time, and when she found out, she didn't feel like it was her place to interfere. Amara listens carefully, her calmness making Toriro feel like she is being analyzed. The conversation feels more like a subtle battle of words than a peaceful dialogue. As the conversation progresses, Amara subtly drops hints that she knows more than she is letting on. She talks about the pain of betrayal, but in a way that makes Toriro feel uncomfortable. Amara doesn't yell or argue. Instead, she plants seeds of doubt in Toriro's mind, slowly unraveling her confidence. Toriro starts to realize that Amara is not as defeated as she once thought. Amara explains how she has suffered, not just from Akinyi's betrayal, but from the fact that he didn't even have the decency to tell her the truth. She speaks about the future, and how no matter what happens, she will not let Akinyi's mistakes ruin her life. Toriro, on the other hand, begins to feel insecure about her place in Akinyi's life. For the first time, she sees Amara as a strong woman who is not easily broken. By the end of their conversation, both women leave with unresolved feelings, but Amara's strength leaves a lasting impact on Toriro. Amara's silence and patience start to pay off. She convinces Akinyi that she has forgiven him and is willing to move forward with their marriage. Akinyi, relieved and hopeful, believes that everything is going back to normal. He thinks that Amara is truly ready to put the past behind them and rebuild their life together. He doesn't realize that Amara is still playing a much deeper game. While Akinyi continues his daily life, Amara quietly begins to make subtle changes. She acts as if she is giving him another chance, but everything she does is calculated. She doesn't argue or create drama. Instead, she creates small moments that begin to plant doubt in Akinyi's mind about his second marriage. She starts by gently bringing up topics that make Akinyi uncomfortable, hinting at things he'd rather not discuss, such as his relationship with Toriro. Amara's true plan is to make Akinyi feel as if he is losing control. She begins to withdraw emotionally, offering less affection and attention, but in a way that doesn't seem unusual at first. She subtly distances herself from Akinyi, making him work harder for her love and attention. She starts becoming more independent, doing things for herself and no longer depending on him for validation. Amara also starts spending more time with people who support her, such as close friends and family. As she builds her life without him, Akinyi becomes more confused. He realizes that Amara is no longer the woman he once knew. She is stronger, more self-sufficient, and less emotionally available. His attempts to regain her love start to feel like a struggle. Amara is quietly setting the stage for her revenge. Her goal is not to destroy Akinyi with anger, but to make him feel the loss of something he thought he could always rely on, her love. As time passes, Akinyi begins to notice that things are changing. Amara is no longer the same woman he married. The warmth and affection he once enjoyed are slowly slipping away. He tries to get her attention to win her back, but Amara remains distant and cold. She no longer shows the same love or care she once did. This startles Akinyi, and he realizes that something is wrong, but he doesn't fully understand what has changed. The more he tries to fix things, the more Amara pulls away. He begins to feel like he's losing her for good. He starts questioning his own actions, wondering if his affair with Toriro was the reason behind the change. But even though he feels regret, he doesn't know how to undo the damage he's done. Akinyi tries to talk to Amara, asking her what he can do to fix their relationship. Amara tells him that it's too late. She doesn't yell or accuse him. Instead, she calmly explains that she's no longer interested in the life they once had together. Her decision isn't based on anger, but on the realization that the trust they shared is gone, and it cannot be rebuilt. He begs for another chance, promising that he will change, but Amara remains firm. She tells him that love is not something you can force. The more Akinyi tries, the more he begins to understand how deeply he has hurt her. The regret he feels grows as he watches Amara become stronger and more independent. He now sees her as a woman who doesn't need him, a woman he once took for granted. Akinyi realizes too late that love, once lost, is hard to regain, and that his actions have forever changed the course of his life. After months of emotional distance and heartbreak, Zuri, the second wife, finally confronts Akinyi. She has noticed the changes in their relationship and feels betrayed, just like Amara. Zuri, who once believed she had a secure place in Akinyi's life, now feels the weight of his lies. The love she thought was strong now feels fragile, and she begins to question Akinyi's true feelings for her. Zuri demands the truth from Akinyi, She wants him to choose between her and Amara. This is not just a simple question for her. It's a moment of clarity. She needs to know if Akinyi's love for her is genuine, or if she was just another chapter in his life that he never took seriously. Akinyi is caught off guard by the question. For the first time, he truly understands the gravity of his actions. He tries to explain, to tell her that he made a mistake, that he didn't want to hurt her. But Zuri is no longer interested in excuses. She feels foolish for trusting him, and the hurt runs deep. She tells him that she doesn't want to be part of a relationship built on lies. Akinyi's heart sinks as he watches Zuri walk away. He realizes that he has lost not just Amara, but now Zuri too. His attempts to hold on to both women have only led to his own downfall. He finally understands that his actions, driven by selfishness and pride, have cost him the love of two women who once cared for him deeply. Zuri leaves, vowing not to return. Akinyi is left alone with his regret, unable to undo the damage he's caused. The silence that follows is deafening. He realizes that no matter how hard he tries, the relationships he destroyed can never be repaired. As Akinyi faces the consequences of his actions, Amara begins to heal. She has spent months battling with the pain of betrayal, but she now sees things differently. The emotional weight of forgiveness hangs in the air, but Amara doesn't feel the need to forgive Akinyi just for the sake of peace. She realizes that forgiveness is for her, not for him. She is no longer the woman who lived in the shadow of his lies. She has found strength in her independence. One evening, Akinyi asks to speak with Amara. He comes to her, vulnerable and full of regret. He begs her for forgiveness, explaining that he now understands the full extent of his mistakes. He admits that he never fully appreciated her, that he took her love for granted, and that he can't undo what's been done. Amara listens quietly, but her response is calm and measured. She tells Akinyi that forgiveness doesn't mean going back to the way things were. She's not ready to open her heart to him again. The wounds he caused are too deep to forget, and while she acknowledges his regret, she knows that their marriage is no longer what it once was. Akinyi insists that he's changed, that he's learned from his mistakes, but Amara knows that the past can't be erased. She doesn't respond with anger or bitterness, but with a sense of finality. She tells him that she has moved on, and that she deserves a future where she is loved and respected, without the weight of betrayal hanging over her. For Amara, forgiveness is not about accepting Akinyi back into her life. It's about freeing herself from the chains of hurt. She chooses to move forward, to let go of the past, and to build a life that is hers alone. Akinyi, standing before her, realizes that he has lost the most important thing he ever had, her trust. Amara's decision to forgive Akinyi is not about accepting him back into her life. Instead, it is about reclaiming her own strength and finding peace within herself. As time goes on, Amara becomes more independent. She focuses on her work, her children, and building a life that is hers alone. Slowly, she starts to see her life in a new light. The pain of the past no longer holds her back. While Akinyi struggles with the consequences of his actions, Amara is thriving. She takes control of her future, starting her own business and becoming a respected member of the community. She doesn't need Akinyi to validate her anymore. She is building something meaningful for herself and her children. Akinyi watches from a distance, feeling the weight of his own regret. He sees how strong Amara has become and how little he means to her now. The woman who once depended on him is now independent and successful. He begins to realize that his actions have left him with nothing. The love he once took for granted is gone, and there is no way to turn back time. Amara's silent revenge is not about taking action against Akinyi. It's about showing him that she can live a fulfilled, happy life without him. She doesn't need him to survive or succeed. Her success is her ultimate statement, a quiet, powerful form of revenge. Akinyi is left to live with the regret of what he lost, while Amara continues to build a future where she is the one in control. Amara has reached a point where she no longer needs to prove anything to Akinyi. She has rebuilt her life, found her own strength, and become a woman who no longer depends on anyone for validation. Her journey has been filled with pain, betrayal, and heartbreak, but now she stands tall, free from the emotional burden that once weighed her down. Akinyi, on the other hand, is left in the ruins of his own actions. He regrets everything he did, from the affair to the lies he told. He watches Amara's success from a distance, but it's too late. She has moved on, and no amount of regret or pleading can change that. The realization that he has lost her forever is too much for him to bear. Amara knows that she deserves more than what Akinyi was able to give her. The man she once loved is now a stranger to her. She has found a place of peace within herself, and she understands that her happiness comes from within, not from the approval or love of a man who betrayed her. She makes the final decision to move forward without Akinyi. She leaves him behind and continues to build a life that is free from the past. As she walks away, she doesn't look back. She has learned that forgiveness isn't about reconciling with someone who hurt you. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of their actions. Akinyi, alone and filled with regret, understands that no matter how much he wishes, he cannot undo what he has done. He has lost the love of his life, and the only thing he can do now is live with the consequences.